Okay. Okay. So, talking about the author, E.M. Foster, you see, Edward Morgan Foster was born in London in 1879, and in 1911 he went to India with G. Dickinson, his mentor at King's College, and he returned to London as a journalist. So you find in 1921 he again went to India to work as a secretary to the Maharaja of Devas state senior, and his first trip lasted 6 months and inspired him to write a passage to India. And he was influenced by the Italian Renaissance and Greek, paganism in his youth. And you find Orientalism inspired him in his adulthood. So during this visit, he also traveled to Bankipur in Bengal region, and it is the basis of Chandrapur of the novel. So you find Foster was a good friend of many well-known writers like J.M. Keynes, Virginia Woolf, Leonard Woolf, Russell's another who later became the integral part of the Bloomsbury Group. And Foster's initial articles and short stories were published in the Independent Review, which was a Bloomsbury journal. And you have it was his novel, however, that attracted attention, and his works include, Where Angels Fear to Tread in 1905, The Largest Journey in 1907, A Room with a View in 1908, Harvard's End in 1910, The Celestial Omnibus in 1911, so many, A Passage to India in 1924, aspects of the novel in 1927, and many more. So you find during World War II, he broadcasts many essays over the BBC, and he has also written a pageant of plays, England, Pleasant Land, and a film, Diary of for Timothy, a libretto for Benjamin Britten's opera Billy Budd with Eric Crozier and numerous essays. So, about this particular novel, A Passage to India, which was written in 1924, is a modernist psychological novel and was selected as one of the 100 great works of the 20th century English literature by the Modern Library. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you find the novel is also included in all time 100 novels list by the Times Magazine, and it won the 1924 James Stewart Black Prize for Fiction. The novel is based on Foster's experience in India, and he borrowed the title of his novel from Walt Whitman's poems, Leaves of the Grass, which was published in 1870. So, based on the novel, David Lean directed the film A Passage to India in 1984, and in 1960, Santa Ramu Rao was inspired by the novel to dramatize it. And you find that A Passage to India in 1924 was written during 1912, 1924 in both India and England. So it is set specially in the Indian cities of Chandrapur and Mao against the backdrop of the British Raj and the Indian freedom movement in the 1920s. Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Audible.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. Uh, so you find what did I say? Hello.
Yes,
This
sir. It
novel
is
is
set
based
in
on
the
the master's
backdrop of British
experiences.
Raj.
Okay. Um, yeah. So there was a third narrator, a named narrator, who relates the story of the novel, and this narrator is omniscient and at tuned both to the physical world and the inner states of the characters. So the major theme of the novel is the difficulty of the west east relationship, the English and the Indian friendship. So you find that is the human relationship, the unity of all living things, and the negligence of the British colonial government. So in this when we are coming to the you know the plot, we see that the story of this novel revolves around four characters. That is Dr. Aziz, Mr. Cyril Fielding, Mrs. Moore, and Miss Adila Quested. So you find the novel is divided into three parts. One is titled as the mosque. Second is the caves, and third is the temple. This roughly representing the Muslims, uh, the mosque representing the Muslims, the caves representing the English, and temples representing the Hindus. So you find the first part, that is mosque, begins with a description of the city of Chandrapur. The physical separation of the city indicates the separation that exists between the Indians and the English. So you find the reader is first introduced to the protagonist, and the protagonist is Dr. Aziz, who is a surgeon who practices at the government hospital in Chandrapur under the supervision of Major Calendar. Major Calendar is another character. So, so, in the opening chapters, Aziz and his friends are, shown discussing the English officials who govern under the British Raj in India. And among the English side, who also discusses the Anglo Indian relationship, are Mr. Turton, the collector, Major Calendar, the English doctor, Mr. Uh, MEG-3, the police magistrate, Ronnie Heapslope, the city magistrate, and the latest official to assume duties in Chandrapur. So outside these groups are, Cyril Fielding, the English principal of the government school, whose, elegance you find belongs to neither of the groups. Mrs. Murray, mother of Ronnie Hislop, who has come to India. Professor Godbole. Godbole is a Hindu who is separated from the Muslims by his religion and from the English by his religion as well as the nationality. And you find the English missionaries, Mr. Graceford and Mr. Sorley, who share none of the arrogance of English officialdom as they attempt to convert the Indians to Christians. Just a minute. Okay. So then we find Dr. Aziz is an intelligent, emotional Indian Muslim doctor at the government hospital, and he attempts to make friends with Adila Quested. So Mrs. Murray and Cyril Fielding also. And you find later Adila falsely accuses Aziz of attempting rape after an expedition to Marabar caves, but the charges are dropped after Adila's testimony is at the trial. And 2 years later, you find Dr. Aziz and Professor Godbole are found living in Mao, a town several hundred miles west of the Marabar Hills, and which is currently, celebrating the birth of Lord Krishna. So Dr. Aziz, learns that Fielding, along with his wife, is coming to Mao on business, and Fielding had sent him a letter explaining all the details about wedding to Stella More. So you find Mrs. Moore's daughter, Stella Moore, but Aziz, never read it. And he still thinks that Fielding has married Adila. So all misunderstandings are finally cleared up when they meet. But Aziz does not care who Fielding has married, and his heart is now with his own people and he wishes no English man or English woman to be his friend. So later that day, you find Fielding and his wife, you know, borrow a boat in order to watch the religious procession, and Aziz, helps them, thereby repeating the gesture of hospitality he had intended to make, mm, to the visit to the Marabar caves 2 years earlier. And at the height of the ceremony, the two boats collide and all are thrown into the water. So the accident erases all bitterness between Fielding and Aziz. And a few days later, they go for a ride in the Mao jungles, and Aziz gives Fieldings a letter for Miss Quested, in which he thanks her for her fine behavior 2 years back. So they talk about politics, and Aziz foresees the day when India shall be free from British rule and they will be friends. So this is in short about the plot of this novel. Yeah. So how do you find the novel is with relation to that particular period? Yes, Prachi.
Uh, Good evening, sir. I find like I did not go through the text, but I watched that movie. So in that movie, also the same context is there, and the author, like he has done a good job of showing how the Indians, British, and Muslims in India get along, how they live, what they believe, and somewhere or the other, thing is that every British or Englishman was not with a bad intention, and also that period was itself a very chaotic period, and in that period, to understand each other with a good thought was a problem itself. But in this like in this novel, it is shown that if you give time, space, and kind of you don't take a prejudice, then things can come to a very good end.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I will come back to you. Yes, Anjita.
I think this movie is about the friction that happens in between the relationship of Englishmen and Indians under British colonialism. They have used the characters Aziz and Fielding for that, and it's created a background with symbols like caves, mosque, and all to show the background of it. And you said the plot, but towards the end of it, Aziz says that no, we cannot reconcile right now, which shows that no matter what, a little bit of prejudice will be existing in Indians towards English. That because of the colonialism, because of the what all happened. Because Aziz had to go through the wrath of British people, whatever said and done. Even though eventually he was freed, the damage done by British was had left a mark on Indians.
Habiba.
That's what I felt.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, briefly speaking, I feel like this text is dealing with personal difficulties or existential challenge of becoming intimate with anyone, like regardless of their race and religion, and also dealing with difficulties regarding forming relationships with individuals of different beliefs and cultures.
Yes, yes. So we see here, the cultural clash, the misunderstanding, and the separateness. So the novel, exhibits the cultural clash and the feeling of separateness between the two fundamentally different cultures of the East and the West, and also among the two religions, that is, the Muslims and the Hindus. So, the fundamental differences in race, language, the sexual equality, and the religion which separate the Indians from the British. So, you find Foster emphasizes that one of the major effect of we can say colonialism is the cultural misunderstanding and the different cultural ideas and the expectations regarding hospitality, social you know um, social uh, priorities and the role of religion in our daily life are responsible for the misunderstanding between the English and the Muslim Indians, and the English and the Hindu Indians, and between the Muslim and the Hindus. So the Anglo Indians, that is, the British administrators and their families in India represent the West residing in Chandrapur. So we find, so the characters such as Turton, Calendar, Mac by Day, Ronnie, put their job above their personal desires. And the bridge party, organized by the Turtons, is more, a diplomatic exercise than truly personal. So you see, Mac by Day, you see the superintendent of police, you know, mm, prosecutes Aziz because it is his duty to do so. And Ronnie breaks off his engagement with Adila partly because her action in the court are seen by the Anglo Indians as public disgrace. So he rethinks his marriage with her, since it offends the members of his community who disapprove of Adila because of her behavior at the trial. Then we see Cyril Fielding, the principal of the government college, by speaking up for Aziz, goes against the public behavior which is expected of him and is, considers as letting down his people. So, as a consequence, you find he is expelled from the English club at Chandrapur. So, though you find colonized, Dr. Aziz uh, is torn, between his private dreams and his public life as a doctor at the government hospital. And when his attempts to, transcend the distinction between the public constraints and his private wishes, trouble, encounters him. So it is only because he challenges the spirit of the Indian earth. And it is only in the case of Professor Godbole and his prayers that the dividing line between his public and private life seems to be very blurred. So thus we can find here the colonization, thereby imperialism imposed on many Indians, directly or indirectly, which regulates the way Anglo Indians, Muslims, and the Hindus act, react, and interact. So we find the wide impact of colonialism reveals the different religions, the socio and the cultural, um, the cultural aspects which arise from the varied value systems. So this is about how the author has tried to show uh, that the colonialism, the cultural clash in the text. Yeah, would you like to add? Yes, you can add. Hello, Kavita. Today you're silent.
Yes, sir. I'm here, sir. I haven't read the full novel. I just know summaries.
Okay, Namchi.
So I haven't read the novel either. I just watched the movie.
Okay, okay. So,
So, so can we say this that by this novel we get a simple message also that um, positive cultural relationships and personal friendship for people around us, whether they are from different cultures, but the main existence is to showing the respect of understanding each other, like in this friendship of what is the name, Dr. Aziz and Fielding. There also they both wanted to be friends, but uh, the kind of understanding that was there, or you can say the racial or interracial differences they had, they could be sorted, but they did not sort because of lack of that respect there should be. So, for me, it is positive cultural relationships and personal friendship that depends on showing respect to each other, whether you belong to any race
any
or
of the yes, yes.
any of the races.
Habiba,
Yes, sir. Uh, like what Prachi has said, it's quite apt. Like it is the lack of respect and also just providing a platform to the third party to peep in between. Like these two races and religions, they were having little gap, and the third party just kind of took in the opportunity and played the game. So it was like the lack of respect, of course, and also there was distance already there. So there were differences, and the third party took over the opportunity and made use of it.
Yes. Okay, we also see the feminist approach. If we see, Foster, brings upon two important concerns of feminism in this novel. The first one is the double colonization of Indian woman, which is expressed through the interaction of English and the Indian woman on one hand, and the inferior looks of the Indian men towards their woman on the other hand. So you find the feminist approach to this novel depicts also the way the woman of colonized as well as the colonizer countries suffer, a double um, colonization by patriarchies and imperial ideologies, and it helps to broaden the analysis of the gender through multicultural identity formation. So you find the novel presents an account of two British women, Mrs. Moore and Miss Quested, who questions the standard behaviors of the English towards the natives, and consequently suffer from an unsettling experience in India. So you find the female victims in this novel are not a third world, black woman, or the Dalit woman, but these are white British women who fail in their quest to see the real India. So, though we find, the whole story, revolves around these two women, the emphasis is more on their, failure than on their success. So, Foster, depicts the attitude of British women towards, native Indians, and we have Mr. Turton, the stereotype of the snobby, rude, and prejudiced, English colonial wife, represents the attitude of most of the English women in India. Explicitly, we can say, regarding themselves superior to all Indians in seemingly, every respect. And you find she tells Miss Quest at the party that she is superior to, Indians except one or two of the Ranas. So you find this depicts, the Western women's view towards native women, which is devoid of the feeling of sisterhood, and they are overwhelming, racists. So you find beside the story of the British woman, the double colonialization of Indian woman is also obvious in this novel. And they are the victims of the patriarchy and imperialism in their society. So you find the behavior and even the thought of Dr. Aziz towards his belated wife are, accompanied by a sense of inferiority. So you see, he tells Mr. Fielding that his wife was not highly educated woman and even beautiful and of no importance. So his speech reveals that no doubt women are the focus of the men's conversation, but they are simply a medium of exchange between the men. So this is how he's tried to show uh, the female characters, the feminist approach of in this novel. Anyone would like to add to this?
Yes, sir. So the fragility of feminism, as we have mentioned. So I think there is one more point which may get added to this would be uh, the instance where Adela is being physically assaulted in the cave. So, and she
But is that
deliberately,
true? But is that true?
no,
Huh.
but
In
she
this we can
deliberately,
say, sorry.
Yeah, you
but
finish, Abiba. Yes.
yes, but she deliberately pointed out at Aziz, but Aziz was not the culprit.
Prachi?
Yes, sir. I was adding to this, like, this can be seen as this was a preconceived notion for Indian men. Like, if they cannot be gentleman types, they cannot go do good. Like, the whole image of India and Indians were distorted only. So, because of that, she might have taken this decision of accusing him, but gradually she realized and she did not appear in the case thereafter. But initially that frame was there that yes, these are Indians and they should be treated like this only.
Yeah, yeah. Anyone else? See, if you don't read and come, the problem is here. You don't you don't contribute to the class. Actually, these these sessions are where you read and come, and then you have a discussion. If you don't read and come, it just becomes a dull. A class uh, becomes dull. You don't participate. You just we have one way communication. Okay. uh, so talking about the symbolism, Foster uses symbols to give additional meanings to his novel. Being a modernist modernist novelist, Foster has used uh, those symbols to give a clear and deep meaning uh, through objects. And you find the novel contains a great amount of symbolism, but there are four main symbols. One is the cave, the second is the sky, third is the green bird, and fourth is the wasp. So you find Foster's novel is based on his experience in India during two visits he made. And between these visits, First World War had taken place, which undoubtedly affected Foster's view on life, and therefore the rest of the world has its effect. And the most obvious symbols are the titles of the three sections, that is the mosque, the cave, and the temple. Okay,
Sir, also
just
the
give,
last
yeah,
closing scene
Habiba,
of.
just give me a minute.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so you find now these three, mosque, cave, and the temple, which are organized by the three seasons in India. And you find mosque takes place during the cool weather, the cave during the hot weather, and temple during the rainy season. So these sections set the tone of the novel. Habiba, you're telling something?
Yes, sir. Sir, we were talking about symbolism now. So I was just adding that there is the last or the closing scene of this text, where these two men, Cyril Fielding and Aziz, when they are like just racing in the forest, and there comes the moment where they both are talking, and there is this closing dialogue where Fielding asks why like they can't be friends now, and they both were quiet, and this quietude was so much high that the sky and the earth like seemed to say, and there was this line, no, not yet and not there. So like this is like highly symbolic of the present times as well, and also this evergreen mentality of the two races to not gel within each other.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean to say, what are you trying to, you know?
So we were discussing the symbols too, so I think this quietude was also a symbol in itself.
Yeah, I haven't finished yet.
Okay, so
Yeah. So the section which talks about, the first section we see talks about the mosque, and the mosque is people meet, each other at various social occasions, functions, and they meet one another calmly, coolly, and friendly. So, the first meeting of Aziz and Mrs. Murray, takes place in the mosque at night. And the mosque is a symbol of refuge and peace, and a place of, sanctuary. So Mrs. Murray has, mm, gone to, to the mosque because she's bored with the play, and she has been, attending at the Chandrapur club. And you find the mosque therefore suggests the possibility of understanding between people of different religions. So you find, however, as the later chapters show, there are many powerful forces that interfere with this worthy goal. Then the section of the cave, you find It contains the climax of the novel, which takes place during the hot weather. And symbolically, the emotions of the people, are inflamed and are unable to, think coolly and rationally. So you find critics have argued about the symbolic meaning of the cave as, standing for misunderstanding, or what we can say that Mrs. Moore calls, muddle. So Mrs. Moore's, hold on life was threatened by her experience of meaninglessness within the cave. And you find the Marabar caves, play a significant role in shaping the events of the novel, as well as symbolically, representing many crucial aspects. So they represent the nothingness and the, futility of trying to build, relationships between the British and the Indians, and the muddle and mystery of India and its culture. So they represent the mysterious depths of Indian spirituality, which cannot be, gasped by the Britishers. And they profoundly, change the lives of the characters by driving both people and cultures apart. Then we also find, the third, the section is the temple. The temple which attempts to bring solace to the people with its pouring rains. And keeping with the symbol of the Hindu temple, the chapter, celebrates the Hindu principle of the oneness of all things. So you find it presents the proper Hindu festival, that is Gokul Ashtami, and celebrating the birth of Lord Krishna. And the mosque is, depicted as the place of cross cultural friendship. And so too is the Hindu temple. So you find the festival produces a wave of good feelings that embraces even Aziz and the Muslim, and also leads to the reconciliation between Aziz and Fielding. So we find, being a modernist novelist, he has used the modernist devices, that is the wasp, to create a modernist mood in the novel. At the beginning, we see of the novel when Mrs. Moore comes back from the club. She observes a small wasp asleep on a coat peg, and it becomes a symbol of unity of all living creatures as reflected in the Indian religious tradition, and according to which even an insect is an embodiment of godliness. So, though Mrs. Murray is not aware of this, she is, sympathetic to the insect as a part of the universe and in tune with these thoughts. So, you find her peaceful regard for the wasp signifies her own openness to the Hindu idea of collectivity and to the mysticism and the indefinable quality of India in general. We also see the sky is very prominent among other symbols, and it recurs in many chapters. And we find it is personified to such an extent that the sky becomes almost a character, as the sky embraces everything. It also, you find, could be considered as a symbol of inclusiveness and as a symbol of the vast expanse of British imperial control and the vastness of India itself. So, so we see that just after Adila and Ronnie agree to break off their engagement, they notice a green bird sitting in the sitting on the tree above them. And for Adila, the bird symbolizes the unidentifiable quality of all of India, because just when she thinks that she can understand any aspect of India, that aspect either changes or disappears. And in this scene, you find the green bird symbolizes the muddle of India. And then we also see that the novel presents a series of bad parties: the Turtons Bridge Party, Fielding's tea party, and Aziz's picnic. So they are organized in order to bring the colonizers and the colonized together, but they fail miserably. So these unsuccessful parties symbolize the cultural clash in the British Empire in general. Okay, am I clear? Okay. Yeah, now it's open for discussion. Yeah, if you would like to add, would like to give a different perspective, you can. Yes, Anjita, go ahead.
Okay, so I think this is one observation I felt from this novel, like this Mrs. Moore and Mrs. Adela question. Because Mrs. Moore did not have much prejudice, because both these people wanted to explore the real India. Their intention was to know the real India. But Adela had a little bit of prejudice. But Mrs. Moore was more open. That's what I felt because she outrightly started communicating with Indians. Even Aziz was so shocked to know that, okay, English people do treat Indians like this. That is the first impression he got from Mrs. Moore. And Mrs. Moore is the one who realized it without prejudice because Adila right away thought that she got assaulted by Aziz. That is her prejudice in her mind. That shows a prejudice because Aziz did not do that, but still she thought like that. And if you look at Mrs. Moore, she was more open, she was communicating with people, and she understood the fact that India is so complete. It's a mixture of complicated mixture of cultures, religion, and identity. I mean, yes, culture, religion, and identity, ideologies all together. So this realization, I think Foster is trying to show it through these two characters. Like Adila shows the prejudiced version, and Mrs. Moore shows the unfiltered version, where she did not have any prejudice. She understood how Hindu is. I mean, even the wasp using symbols like wasp, she shows like okay, that unity, that oneness that Hinduism is trying to show. Even in mosque, when she meets Aziz, how he feels like in India, all these cultures are there, how people are. So I think Mrs. Moore is the non-prejudiced version, and Adila is a prejudiced version of viewing Indians.
Yeah, yeah.
This is yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Habiba?
Sir, I just want to add a little bit. I think it is more about the multitude of religious cultures and belief systems that goes bosom to bosom, that goes generation to generation, and like people by people. So the diversity, the diversity is there, but also there are so many things which have so many multitudes and perplexities that is kind of breeding or budding from bosom to bosom, as I mentioned earlier. So I think this novel is focusing on those multitudes and perplexities also.
Okay. Prachi? Sanjana?
Sir, I have a question or kind of a little doubt. Like in this novel, a lot of nature things are being represented as a symbol, also, as the author talks about nature too much. So, what is the role of nature here? What nature is playing here? And why it is so much into conversations and depictions?
Hmm. Nature, you find, nature's influence you find in this novel is clear from the beginning, as is talking about Chandrapur is the author is talking about Chandrapur's natural landscapes, the land, hills, you know, farms, and the starlit sky, which help in framing the British rule India story. And without it, you find that the Indian setting becomes very incomplete. So Foster is trying to depict a country where humans are one with nature, and they play and worship with it. And you find from Chandrapur to Mao, nature is buddy. Nature is Nature adds, to the song during Krishna devotion. So, some regards is there as a chaos, rhythm, or a partner, and human nature, contradicts nature. So Ronnie and the other Brits are causing confusion. Fielding is clearing it, and Aziz is escaping. You find Mrs. Murray was angelic, so she's a goddess, and you find the Indians perceive things as a cosmic framework, unlike the British, who are forceful and they are arrogant.
Okay, so but sir, if like if it is depicting somewhat India's condition, or in India cannot be described without it, there can be like it can be seen as a contrast. Like nature is too quiet, nature is too beautiful, rather and contrasting to the people and condition of then prevailing India. It was too chaotic, it was too confusion, it is called muddle of India. And so is it kind that author is trying to bring a
Contrast between what?
contrast between nature and what to say, humans, or
I told you that.
okay, same thing, right.
Yeah, I told you. The human nature is contradicts the nature.
Human nature contract, yes sir, the same point, which like I
Yeah.
was having same thing in mind. Like if it is so much referred here, then it must be either like depicting thoughts of India as a
In
beautiful
one of
thing.
the text, Foster's, in chapter 13,
Okay.
he's talking about India is nature. India is the country,
Mm-hmm.
fields, then hills, jungles, hills, and more fields.
Mm.
Okay, he says that. And you find, and he also says there, as soon as she landed in India, it seems to her good. And when she saw the water flowing through the mosque tank, or
Mm.
the Ganges, or the moon, caught in the shawl of night with all the other stars, it seemed a beautiful goal and an easy one. To be one with the universe, so dignified and simple. So he's talking, he's talking about nature as a powerful symbol,
Right,
which
that
that reflects,
unity thing.
the change in the socio-political environment of India.
Okay sir, okay.
And also you find, Foster uses nature as a canvas, to portray various sentiments and moods at different turns throughout the novel.
So we can when we talk about symbols, we can quote nature also.
Nature, yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Anjita.
Yes, sir. I mean, for me, when I went through this novel, the main things were the way they were, as that I already said about Mrs. Moore and Adila's contrast, and even Fielding and Aziz's friendship, how it gets disturbed because of external factors. Even there, so much of misunderstandings do take place. Fielding was not trying to, praise Adila or anything. It was just that Fielding was looking at the positive side of what she did, because she had the courage to revoke the statement that she made, that which Aziz did not see. Aziz was only focused on the damage that happened to his reputation. So even there, so much of confusion happens between them, because Fielding's mindset was not against him. He was not trying to oppose Aziz. Fielding's intention was only to support Adila because she took the courage to revoke a statement that she made. It takes a lot of courage to say that somebody assaulted me, and then in front of everybody to say that no, it was my mistake. He did not do that.
Mistake.
So that courage Adela did. So even here, Fielding and Aziz did not have any issue in between them actually. It was purely misunderstanding that Aziz had on Fielding.
Correct. 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 Okay. Um, so, so coming to just a minute. So, what is the importance of the title, A Passage to India?
So somewhere I felt like Fielding slightly represents Foster's mindset. Not entirely, but at least few of his ideologies are represented through Fielding, I think, because Fielding is a person who doesn't treat Indians in a pessimistic point of view. So maybe Foster is trying to present his ideas about India.
Okay. Now, can you tell me the
Uh,
importance of this word passage
so
in the title?
digressing a little bit from what you are asking, sir, I feel like Foster has given too much power to his characters. Like everybody is so much in control, everybody has so much power and control to their actions, and nobody's facing any consequence. So I think it is, you know, uh, what I'm trying to say is these Indian texts, there is this one idea of very quintessentiality where they have the power. Everybody is given power, everybody has power, and nobody's facing the consequences of their actions. So contrary to what Western texts treat us, Western texts usually have this idea of hamartia, or this tragic flaw, as we have discussed in our previous sessions. So hero or any other character, they do something wrong and they face the consequences. And later in life, gradually they start to realize, oh, I did something wrong. Now this is what I have to face, and I have to live with this. Or I should do something to change it. So I feel like there is a heavy lackness to this because nobody is realizing anything to what they did. So even they have tragic flaws, there is no realization, or there is anything which they can do about it. So I think there is like too much power which Foster has given to his characters, which usually novelists don't give.
Okay. Yes, Prachi.
Sir, can we see it like a like when it is said it is a passage to India? So till that time, India is not very explored. So India acts like a mystery, and this can be treated as like a quest to what to say quest to reach some um, like it's an adventurous quest to get to some place to explore that thing and to know India, because as initially it was told by those two women that they have come to see the real India. So we can see that still there is very much questionable notions of India. So maybe this can be taken as an account, like this is a mystery passage to explore real India from there.
Passage here, sometimes means what I would interpret is, emphasizing on the
Expedition.
transient, the temporary nature of the British characters, which is the relationship that they have to India. The temporary nature of the British characters. Hello.
but then, sir, that temporary nature, like you
Mhm.
say, um,
Mhm.
that is only like temporary. It is temporary because it is still unexplored. It is still to be understood, like to be
You
like
see, this title has been taken from where?
that poem.
Yeah, Leaves of Grass.
Right, right.
Whiteman's
White
writes,
man.
passage to India, lo soul, seest thou of not God's purpose from the first, the earth to be spanned, connected by network, the people to become brothers and sisters, the races, neighbors to marry and be given in marriage, the oceans to be crossed, the distant brought near, the lands to be welded together. So you find in this poem, Foster, took the title of his novel as a relevance to his subject matter, which is immediately, very clear through Foster, which is more, pessimistic than White Man in his ideas about the possibility of human brotherhood. And having made only connect the central theme of Howard's End that he has written, he seems that passage to India is to be questioning the very possibility of connection between people across cultures and even within them. So quite apart from the themes of connection you find raised by White Man, the notion of passage to India is an appropriate because it emphasizes that the British characters, like Foster himself, are they are all passengers and little more than tourists. However long they have lived in the country. Adila and Mrs. Murray are literally passengers, and their passage to India is described, but the Turtons and the Burtons are no more genuinely at home in the vast country. Okay, so this passage referred to the short relationship with India.
So can we add like Occidental and Oriental thoughts coming together?
As in, can you put
Like
it
in
in
initially it is like we can say that East and West were always in like contradictions, but what can like through passage, uh, east coming to west or west coming to east, they can form a like a friendship bonding, like in last, it can be seen in the last scene also, where there's Fielding and Aziz, they want to become friends but they cannot become friends, and it is like incurred that once India is free then they can be friends. So this is what I want to say, that connectivity. um,
You can always write when you are writing your it is your interpretation, always you can present.
okay, sir. Okay.
Habiba, you want to add?
No, sir. Can we, sir, talk about a little bit about the Anglo-Indian aspect in this novel and even the prevailing thing like happening since 1947, like a white man marrying a brown woman or a brown man marrying a white woman, like as happened in this novel also, like Fielding has married Mrs. Moore's daughter.
Anglo-Indian aspect, already I have already told you when I told you about the cultural clash.
And like, sir, what are the
So,
consequences of such
the
marriages?
British administrators and their families in India, represented the West residing in Chandrapur, and all the Englishmen, separate them from the Indian with their, racial prejudice. and pride, except you find Mrs. Murray who changes her attitude later. So, we so this is what you can explore through the Anglo-Indian aspects.
But so, can we discuss some more about the consequences or its impact of such marriages on like Indian people and white people?
Yeah, you can put some light on that.
Anyone, please?
So, like, Habiba, what are you exactly putting? You want to know that what is the reaction of people around when an Anglo-Indian thing happens? This thing.
Uh, Not just the immediate reaction, but like in the long run. Like, what is the future of such marriages and also the impact of such marriages on society because they are not highly appreciated, I guess.
Habiba, that people will have different interpretations.
Like it is up to see, any marriage is up to two people's their own personal choice, and if they are ready, then and if they are
It
compatible,
is
then how?
happening. Prachi, sorry, I'm
Sorry, sir.
just interrupting. I said that it is happening till today. Also, it's happening. Those
And
periods
sir,
also.
uh,
Yeah, yeah.
and sir, also it is like it is now the things have changed, but if talking about then existing period, yes, it was not very welcomed, but what can we do if two people, like, what can we say if two people are taking this decision of coming together from different communities? They must have like, initially I raised a point of this respect, understanding of respect. If you have that thing, then it can go very well throughout. But I don't think so, like uh, so much society bothers it unless and until the two people within the marriage take care of it.
Yes, because
Habiba,
also the children.
could you please tell us where in this novel they talk about Anglo-Indian marriage?
It's there, no? Cyril Fielding is marrying Mrs. Moore's daughter.
They both are English people, right?
Yeah,
There is
that's
no
what I
mixing
was
here.
also thinking.
But the movie which you both were talking about, I think what I thought was there was this movie, one movie of Amir Khan where he's playing the role of Aziz. I don't know, are you talking about that
No, no,
cinematic
no. There is a
adaptation?
movie by this name, Passage of in Passage to India. There is a movie by this name only, and
Okay,
it is not this like not a Bollywood movie or something.
okay, okay.
But like, you, if you
But
have that.
sorry, but I would say that text is always a text. It cannot be replaced by any movie or anything.
Very true, sir. That's what
Yes, sir.
I was saying that.
Actually, sir, what happened?
No, no,
I have
Habiba,
watched this
what
movie.
happens if you don't go through the text and you go through these movies, you will have lot of confusion because movies doesn't represent the full text. And we are
Yes,
not
and
doing an analysis of the film. We are not doing analysis of a film. We are always doing
Right.
analysis of the text.
yes, and they actually change up a few details here and there as well.
Yes, yes, because
Yeah, yeah.
that is like quite similar to this one. And yes, of course, cinematic adaptations could not be like should not replace the text, of course, but also like there was this element of Anglo-Indian aspect and their marriage happening inside that.
But then it is not
Yeah.
that, but
Yes,
what
yes,
Anjita said right now, I was also
yes, yes, yes.
wondering about it. Means which part you wanted to uh, highlight. But if you can, you read this After the Raj, the British novels of India since 1947 by David Lee Rubin. You will get a lot of idea about it.
Yes, sir.
And I think this novel has so much relevance even today because even today India is the same. We have so much of diversities.
Yeah, yeah, correct.
Whereas the British people were trying to find out what is it, what is that single thing, what is this real India. But they later, like Mrs. Moore realizes, you can never judge like that because India is so complicated. There are so many cultures, so much diversities. So that is what makes this novel so relevant even today because even now India is the same. We have so much diversity.
And the condition
Correct.
of women is still did not change.
So, how many of you from here are pursuing your MA in English? All of you are MA. Okay. Okay. And rest, others, how many of you are doing this PG diploma in British literature? PG diploma? Prachi, you are doing PG diploma?
Sir, no, sir. MA English.
Oh, PG diploma in British literature? No one? Okay. And PG diploma in uh, new literatures in English? No one. Okay. So I think all of you are doing MA in English. Okay. And how many of you are trying to, no, means are you aspiring to go for net exams? Okay, good, good. Divya, okay.
Sir, sir, may I ask one question?
Yes, yes.
Sir, preparing for net, it is compulsory to go through the texts, all the texts, or
No, 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 no. Net is like you can get question from anywhere.
anywhere?
So net, you can prepare. You need to, you. It is more important than how many questions you have, solved.
Okay, sir.
So it is better that you solve more and more questions, bring different authors, these papers you have, they have different questions, you solve them, and then you keep on solving questions from the internet also. Do not rely on the answers.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay. So I was asking some more questions, just a minute.
Sir, can you please tell us more about the cave symbol because it is little confusing for me. I I felt like it is self-reflection, that cave and that echoing sound, and it says like Adila later, that echoing in her ear only comes down after confronting that, after revoking the accusation against Aziz, and Moore was also there. So could you please help us? Um, could you please explain much better about the cave,
Cave,
that symbol cave?
the Marabar cave are you talking about, right?
Yes, 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 sir.
So you find, the Maravar caves, represent all that is, alien about nature, and you find the caves are quite older and than anything else on the earth, and this, embody nothingness and the emptiness, a literal void in the earth, and you find they defy both the English and the Indians to act as guides to them, and then their strange beauty and the menace which is unsettles the visitors. So you find the caves, uh, polity also has the power to make the visitors like these two people who came, Mrs. Moore and Adila, confronts the parts of themselves or the universe that they have not previously recognized. So all these, they have come here to explore. They didn't see all these things, and they all are of the all reducing echo of the caves causes Mrs. Moore to see the darker side of her spirituality, a warning, commitment to the world of relationships, and a growing ambivalence about God. And you find Adila confronts the shame and embarrassment of her realization. Uh, and the realization, that she and Ronnie are not actually attracted to each other, and that she might be attracted to no one. So, in this sense, the caves both destroy, meaning in reducing all the utterances to the same sound, and exposes or narrates the uh, unspeakable. And we also see the aspect of the universe that the caves visitors have not yet been considered. Anjita,
Yes,
hello.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. But why? I mean, why is that echo compared like that? I mean, only self-reflection part became clear for me. Understood? Maybe they are realizing maybe they are seeing the reality through the echo. Why is that cave
There
so
is a
important
fictional
there?
echo, the fictional echo which is which appears, which is shown.
Okay. Yeah, and also in this cave, is it the guide who actually assaults her? Because he runs away after that.
That's not. Is it written somewhere? I don't think.
No, it's not. It's not mentioned. But
Yeah,
he
yeah.
runs away when Aziz comes back. So I think that might be what happened. Or maybe there's a possibility because this booming in her ear. Maybe her mentally
Yeah,
she got
Prachi would like to
disillusioned.
answer, I suppose. Yes, Prachi.
Sir, one aspect which just clicked because of her question, these caves can be crucial and important, uh, as title is Passage to India, and it is through the there was an invitation to visit these caves, and Aziz being an Indian and invites the English people to let's visit this, and this through this invitation and this event, uh, a friendship foundation was laid. So like because of that also there is some importance of caves here. Can we say that?
Sorry, Prachi, I couldn't hear. My internet was so unstable, I couldn't hear you.
Okay, sir. Sir, actually wanted to say the title itself is like Passage to India, and Aziz gave the invitation to the English people to come and visit. Sorry, to come and visit the caves, and there they laid a foundation for a connection of friendship with the English people. So this can be a representation or a symbol type used for this. East and West coming together, a passage to friendship, which can be linked to title also. What I interpret. Maybe it can be wrong.
Okay. Oh, I thought you're connecting to what Anjita said about the.
Like I was connecting, but I don't know. It is my point of view. Maybe Anjita would not agree, or she may have something different than this. But my point was that it can play a role of passage. That passage, when you are traveling a cave, there is a passage through which you are traveling.
Hmm.
So this invitation by Aziz, like symbol of India and English people, the British, and the cultural difference, they are coming closer. Like their gap is coming closer, and they are trying to lay a
So is
foundation of
this your
friendship.
opinion
Yes,
or
sir, sir,
some?
my total my aspect. It's nothing like what I
Yeah,
wanted.
you can present that.
That cave, especially when she talks about the caves, there the
Mhm.
foundation of this friendship laid, which was like East and West representation, something.
Mhm.
Anjita, would you agree?
Actually, I didn't understand properly. You said friendship.
Like that Dr.
Anjita,
Aziz.
Anjita, sorry, I have got a paper. I will send it to you on WhatsApp. Okay.
Anjita, can you please repeat your
Okay, sir.
question, please?
I didn't ask question. Prachi was saying something. Like she was presenting some point of views.
No, actually, you said no those caves. So from I placed this thing that that cave visit was an invitation from Dr. Aziz to the English people. So we can like conceptualize, or we can take a representation of that passage to India, like forming that foundation of friendship, which is in Indians and British. Aziz is Indian and the English people British. So there can be a depiction or a symbol there. That was I was telling. So do you agree with this point?
I'm not sure about it, but there is one thing. Like these people were so excited and came to the cave, but they were not comfortable at all. Both Mrs. Moore and Adela was disturbed by it. So yeah, if we want, we can connect in that way. Aziz, maybe they came to see something exciting, but they got disappointed. That is the point I understood from here. Because Aziz invited them and they went there, but they were not really happy with the experience that they had. So maybe they are trying
Because
to show that they, yeah.
yeah, because probably that they never expected that what were caves of this type. You know, so probably that was beyond something what they expected to be. Means it didn't reach to their expectation. Yes, Habiba.
Yes, sir. Sir, I was saying this very episode, this incident, we can say that, you know, this incident is this entire novel only. In short, like they coming to a place with like full of excitement and vigor and going back with disappointment. Like this incident, we can say that could be the enlargement of the novel,
Okay.
or the entire novel is residing in this very incident only. Like these two women coming to a place in India, and in this incident, we can say to the caves with full of excitement, and they go back like with disappointment. They are resentful.
But then you are pointing that when they came here, like they had a question in their mind, what is real India? And so real India was very terrifying for them.
Yes, like
Okay.
they could like not terrifying exactly, but it was like, as I mentioned earlier, it was a multitude. So had like they saw so many things. They saw cultural beliefs. They saw so many things which they were not able to align in linear manner.
Okay. How
So
can you like
it was
how
not a wholesome experience. So bits and pieces of something, and then bits of pieces of something. So it was not a very wholesome experience. So it was a very disappointing experience in the end, maybe.
so how do you like symbolify this thing? Like you said, it is a
Like this
smaller picture
incident,
of a bigger picture. It is a smaller depiction.
yes, yes, yes.
What is exactly the bigger picture?
The novel itself.
Not that like,
The bigger picture was they were not satisfied with this expedition.
but in the end, there is like friendship. The notion ends with yes, once India is free, there can be a good friendship. But uh, okay, so you are connecting to this to that unsatisfying thing. They
Yes,
came, but they were totally unsatisfied.
from the perspective of those two women, like from their lens.
Okay, okay.
I think this cave does represent a theme expectation versus reality also. Yes, Krishna Raj, go ahead.
Yes, Krishna Raj. Krishna Raj, you want to say something? I think by mistake he has raised.
Yes, sir. So this there is a point where it says from a distance, Malabar caves look so romantic, and then but it was a completely different. The reality was different. So yes,
But
that
then,
expectation versus reality.
yeah, for me, the caves might be very romantic. For you, it might not be.
Uh, yes, sir. And that's another part also. Here, Aziz, when he's planning the trip, he is so confused with what are the foods they should pack because Muslims are there, Hindu is there, Christian is. God Bole was also wanted to come. So there is a portion where there explains like he's thinking about okay, Muslim cannot eat pork, Hindus cannot eat beef, like that. He is getting confused. So it shows how complicated India is. For outside, it will look so culturally beautiful, but inside, we know the kind of problems we face because of the differences.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
This I
because
was
of
saying, like the bits and
yeah.
pieces of something, but it's not any wholesome experience, and also it is not very satisfying and a very rosy experience. So it is an expedition. They experience certain things, which is not very beautiful and very good to experience too. And in the end, they go back like disappointed.
Sir, but then this is bringing out a very negative picture for India. Like, if we say they came to explore and they went with a negative thing, then, like, was the author in this frame to represent India in a negative thing, negative manner?
I don't believe that. Yeah, Habiba.
No, sir. First, you complete.
Sorry.
No, sir. You can complete first.
Yeah. Prachi, um, you were asking about the negative impact.
So, like Habiba said, and Anjita also brought this point, expectations versus reality. It's fine that yes, there is a lot of chaos and confusion when there are different genres residing at one place. But
Hmm.
this is the beauty also, like India being so secular and respecting each other. That is
Hmm.
the beauty of India. How can, like, coming like Habiba, you said that she came with some other expectation, but she went with a
But then,
disappointment.
but
Then
then, Prachi,
yes, sir.
it has been very clear that the clash between the West and the East culture was there. That prejudiced misunderstanding in this novel are worth mentioning about it.
Okay, sir. So, so we can say that they went with a thought of some negative India.
Might be, yes.
Okay.
Yes, Krishna,
There's
yeah.
also
Krishna Raj.
Sir, I have a small doubt.
Yes.
Is Foster really sympathetic to the cause of Indian independence?
Krishna Raj, could you please come again?
Sir, I have a small doubt.
Yeah.
Could you please clarify whether Foster was
Mhm.
sympathetic to the cause of Indian independence?
The cause of Indian independence.
Yes.
Do you find any instance from the text?
Uh, he, I think he was largely a friend of India,
Hmm.
so that makes me wonder whether he was sympathetic to the cause of Indian independence and the political movement then existing.
Might be, Foster might have, felt sympathetic towards the Indians.
We have a contrasting novel, Niraj Singh Chowdhury's Passage to England.
Mhm.
Will the reading of that book help in any way to answer any question on this?
No, see, we can say that probably um, India shows, sympathy for the Indian independence through this novel, because you find, can you please mute yourself? Yeah, because, Foster, you see, became a lifelong advocate for the tolerance and the understanding among people of different social classes, races, and even the background. So you find Foster began writing this in 1913 after he visited, India, and this novel was not revised completely until World War One. So the racial misunderstanding and the cultural hypocrisies you find that characterize the complex interaction between the Indian and the English towards the end of the British occupation of India. So um, his sympathy for his characters, his ability to see more than the side of an argument or a story, and his fondness for simple symbolic tales that neatly encapsulates the large scale problems and conditions.
Sir, but then nowhere it is mentioned of struggle and fight and everything. It is mainly of this contradiction between the races, the conflicts of the thoughts and cultures and ethnicities, and but nowhere any symbol or any instances are given that yes, India is fighting for its freedom and some kind of depiction or any like notion is it there in the novel?
Yeah, see, you find Aziz, accurately predicts that India will gain its freedom after the next European war. It is there in the text, and you find the friendship between Aziz and Fielding, which is threatened by the England's colonial rule, but they eventually realize that they can't be friends until India is independent. Yes, Habiba.
Sir, I think it is like what Prachi is asking, like, isn't it like quite similar to what I said in my previous point was like the Foster has given so much power to his characters, and nothing else has power in this text, like other than his characters. Like no symbol is having the power, no uh, no circumstances are having any power, or there is like no uh, in what should I say, like there's no intervention of nature, and there is no psychological struggle, like nothing else is there. It is like just the character and their full complete power over everything. They are doing everything what they want. They are not facing any consequences. Like it is like the complete and absolute takeover of power, and like no symbol is like having any control. There is no intervention of God or any psychological struggle or difficulties. Like nothing is there.
Yeah,
So,
Prachi.
so one more thing, sir. So in that manner, I'm finding this text a little flat one. Like it has flat characters. Like there is no stock character. Like contrary to what other novels usually treat us with, novels usually have stock characters. Like in this novel, we are dealing with all the flat characters. Like unlike stock characters have this certain abilities and certain qualities, like uh, positive or negative ones. But sir, in this novel, I feel like any character can do anything. Like we can't be predictable about the characters and their actions. We can't predict, okay, this character can do this. So there is no prediction. We can't readers cannot predict any character's actions. So that way, like they are very godly characters. Like they have godlike powers. I don't know, but they don't have flaws. And I mean, they do have flaws, but in the text they are portrayed to be such, like even if they are doing anything, they are not dealing with any consequences. I don't know, but I feel like this way. So I'm finding this novel a little flat one because the characters are not stock ones.
But Habiba, I would like to ask, like this novel mainly is a modernist approach. It is showing this racism, colonialism, and that is the main theme and picture which is to be portrayed. And like that one uh, is that theme is totally prominent in this novel, which actually Foster wants to bring out. Then might be it's like not giving emphasis to the characters. They are just like um, portraying a act or something. But the main picture there, what he's trying to bring of this racial colonialism and condition of then existing India, which is very which is very dicey, that no one is forming a particular or a correct opinion about Indians, that he was trying to build throughout the novel, and which was very prominent and which was successful also. So like you said that, talking about the characters, this was never like no one is a protagonist, no one is an antagonist. It is not there. What I feel, it is not that type of novel. It is a very realistic type of thing.
Yes, maybe because this novel is fact based, it's dealing with facts, so maybe this could be a reason, right?
Mainly that question which Krishna Raj Like he asked, I'm thinking about that um, where like it is true that in the end it is once you achieve the independence then there will be friendship and all, but nowhere this sympathetic thing came for this Indian struggle, because nowhere it is mentioned, no symbols, nothing, no theme, no literary device is used. So, sir, how will just, and also
No,
one thing that
it is not mentioned, that is true, but then it is an individualistic approach. Now, how
approach,
you
okay,
analyze,
okay,
yeah.
sir, then yes, it's like if person to person then it is fine, then I agree. But when talking about the novel, there is no such portrayal that Foster is very sympathetic towards Indian struggle. He just came with a view, he explored, he talked about the nature, he talked about the beauty and the diversities, existing problems, and then tata bye bye, it's done. He was not giving solutions or like the earlier novel which we were reading, that Kurds, and that that brought like that brought out that picture of cruelty and colonialism and that mistreatment of people there. So in that case, this novel is not showing something like that. So we, like, for my thing, I don't agree that it is showing any sympathetic thing to this Indian struggle. It's like only ठीक है, once you are free then we can think of friendship. So that is also a mistreatment only. Abhi, it's like you are not at par with us, and once you achieve and you progress, then we'll see, we'll do the friendship. What I feel, that last end also, it's not very positive thing.
Sir, I think most of novels like the partition based novels and novels like dealing with such racial differences, they are dealing with such endings only. So there is also one text, Basti from Intezar Hussain. Like, it is also dealing with such issues only, and the protagonist, even the ending also, it is the same like as this novel also. Like, the characters in that novel also wait for a sign like that minds and hearts may still meet. They are in that hope which never comes, that point never comes. So I think such novels, they don't have a very specific or specified ending. They are like very con- they ends with a very confused ending, I feel like.
It's kind of open to readers,
Yes, it's
what
Yeah,
you
open to
infer.
readers. If you
Yeah.
want to like take it that way, you can take it. If
you
you
can,
want to take it the
yeah,
other way, yeah.
yes, yes. Okay, so I think it's today it's already, it's going to be 8, so we need to end the class here. Um, well, I must tell you that we had nice, sessions, 8 sessions, and one more block is there. You can read, and we you can, if you have any doubts, you can put your questions on the WhatsApp, um, and probably I will open the WhatsApp group now that I've finished the class. I'll open it, and you can post there anything relating to only the study materials. Means nothing, no outside messages at all. I request all of you to do that. I'll open it, and yes, we had a very good discussion sessions, but it would have been more better if more people would have joined, but there were many silent observers. um, so thank you all of you,
So
and
thank you to you. You were a great, great, very great teacher. So you brought the, like, literature learning with you was one one of an experience for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, all of you, and wish you all the best for your examinations.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.